The Trump Department of Justice didn't just miss a court deadline, they showed up days later with an excuse so unbelievable that it immediately raised red flags for the judge. This wasn't confusion. This wasn't a mistake. This was a calculated delay, and once you understand what they're trying to run out, everything clicks. Before we break it all down, make sure you're subscribed, because this case is unraveling fast and the details matter. The deadline they blew. What happened? A federal judge issued a clear, written court order. It wasn't vague. It wasn't complicated. The Trump DOJ was ordered to file a simple certification by Friday at 5:00 p.m. Eastern. That certification required just two things: confirmation that all improperly seized materials were returned, and a sworn statement that no copies remained. Legal experts agree this paperwork should take about 2 hours total. But Friday came. Friday went, and the DOJ filed nothing. No explanation. No compliance. Just silence. Then, Monday morning, suddenly, an emergency motion appears on the docket, and this is where it gets absurd. The excuse that shocked the courts: Trump DOJ told the judge they missed the deadline because they didn't understand the order. Let that sink in. This was a 9-page order, clearly written, with headings like Required Actions Compliance Deadline. It literally says, the government shall return all materials, including all copies, within 72 hours. And yet, the DOJ claimed they were confused about what all materials means, whether copies include backups, whether 72 hours means business hours or calendar. These are not open questions. In federal court, they are settled law. Courts use calendar hours unless stated otherwise. All means all. Copies include backups. This wasn't confusion. This was stalling. Why delay matters so much. The key detail they don't want you focusing on: the statute of limitations in this case expires very soon. Once that deadline passes, the case is dead forever. No extensions, no do-overs. Every day they delay brings them closer to running out the clock. That's why they weren't asking for time to finish paperwork. They were asking for time to let the statute expire. Simple math. Work needed. 2 horse time requested. 7 days. Stats not working. That's waiting. The fired attorney WHO wouldn't leave, and then things got even stranger. A DOJ attorney who had already been fired by a judge for misconduct showed up in another court, claiming she still held the same job. She literally filed court documents using a title she no longer had. Imagine being fired from a company and then showing up weeks later signing emails with their logo and job title. That's exactly what happened here. Worse, she didn't tell the new judge she'd been terminated. That alone is a serious ethical violation. The lie about no copies during a prior hearing. A DOJ attorney was asked directly, "Have any copies of these materials been made?" He said no. He claimed he personally verified it. Days later, forensic evidence proved documents were uploaded to internal DOJ systems. Backups were automatically created. Emails contained attachments, creating even more copies. In other words, the court was misled. That's why the judge demanded something unusual next. Why the Attorney General was put on the spot. Judge ordered that the Attorney General herself must sign the certification. Not a deputy, not a career official. The Attorney General. Why? Because when false statements have already been made, courts demand maximum accountability. But here's the problem: the current Attorney General wasn't even in office when these actions happened. If she signs and more copies are later discovered, she could face sanctions, ethics violations, discipline. The DOJ is trying to walk that back to asking if someone else can sign instead, which tells you everything. They can't honestly certify compliance. The bigger picture ethos isn't just about missed deadlines or sloppy paperwork. It's about ignoring court orders, misrepresent facts, using delay to avoid consequence, and blaming judges when constitutional violations are explicitly violated. Fourth Amendment protections. They got caught, and now they're trying to run out the clock. Conclusion. So let's be clear. The Trump DOJ didn't miss a deadline because they were confused. They missed it because delay helps them. This is what happens when political revenge overrides the rule of law. And now, a federal judge is deciding how serious the consequences will be. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next ruling in this case could change everything, and when it drops, you'll want to hear it explained clearly without spin. I'll see you in the next one.